5, 4, 3.
You're going so slow.
2, 1.
Here, Mother and I are getting a divorce.
Happy New Year!
Oh. Happy New Year, everybody, from Into the Time Knife. It is 2024, officially. We're actually recording this on January 1st, 2024. It's the beginning of a new year. I'm glad you're here. I'm Baby New Year Zach.
And I'm Baby New Year Steven.
And thank you for joining us for just a few moments to ring in 2024. May 2024 will be the 4-year anniversary of us beginning You Can't Disappoint a Podcast, our first podcast together. And 2024 is the 5th calendar year that we've podcasted during. So 2020,
Wow.
2021, 22, 23, 24. Isn't that kind of nuts?
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's a little wild that we're going on 4 full years, 5 calendar years.
A 4-year-old.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with You Can't Disappoint a Podcast. We've managed to keep the little butt baby you gave birth to under wraps all this time. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for hanging out with us. Let's begin this little short hangout session by shouting out our $10 and up patrons over at patreon.com/can't disappoint podcast. Those people are, of course, Mary Baker Budisa, Danny M. Lugo, Justin Fortier, Lil S. Haker, and the return of the reigning champion, Autumn Marsh. Thank you to all those people for supporting us on the $10 and up level. And starting at $5 a month, you can support us over at patreon.com/can't disappoint podcast to get early access of this podcast, our live weekly pre-show, You Can't Dis a Pre-show that we do before we record the podcast, and all of our Patreon exclusive podcasts like the full run of Brokeback Bebop and The Basement, or That 70s Show Rewatch podcast.
You know, Zach, I have a very special resolution this year.
I was going to actually ask that exact thing if you were a resolution guy, which I don't think you actually are.
You know, I've decided that one of my resolutions is I am going to be a resolution guy. And I've decided, Zach, yes, I will go steady with you. That's my resolution, to go steady with you.
The offer stopped standing sophomore year of high school. It should not have taken you this long to decide.
All I asked for was some time to make a decision, and you gave me that. So I've decided.
How do you feel, Steven? Do you feel like, and I already know the answer is no, do you think there's any power to the ending and beginning of a new year? Or do you think that's just like human will getting a little boost at that time of year because you're like, well, I've been fucking up for the last 11 months, let's give it a new shot? Or do you think there is some type of power to the new year?
You know, I will say there has been one year where I like started a new year with like motivation and like
Sure.
I feel like I really did it. And that was a couple years ago.
When you moved to Chicago? Was it that year?
No, it was actually right after the pandemic. I was like, I came back really inspired in like 2021. I was like, yeah, kick ass. Yeah.
How'd that go for you?
Pretty well.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess you did have a lot of like career and personal life growth. Is that the year that you started dating Danny?
Yeah.
And is that the year that you became like top dog at your dance studio?
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's going to be my New Year's resolution then.
Become
in 2023.
top dog at my dance
Wait, it's
studio?
2024. In 2024, I'm putting it down on the book so I make sure it happens this year. In 2024, I begin a romantic relationship with Danny M. Lugo, and I become top dog at Chicago Dance Academy.
If I did it, so can you. What about you, Zach?
I do have a New Year's resolution this year, and I don't really put power into the new year, but you do kind of get a little boost when the new year starts, and I want to make better choices. And my big one this year, if I can stick to it, and I'm really going to try to, I am such a horrendous nail biter. I always have been, and it's literally one of those things. I think it's so gross and off-putting when other people do it, but it's like a nervous anxiety tick that I have that I literally can't controle it. I've done it my entire life.
Zach, though, that it's an interesting choice that you only bite other people's nails, never your own.
Just the toes. Give me them toes.
Take Zach
I think
to
it's
a
so
beach
gross,
to
and
mess.
I've done it my whole life pretty much, and it's time to not do that anymore because I feel like over the last couple years, I've said this a bunch. You know how they say your brain is fully developed when you turn 25? That's 2 years ago for me now. But when I turned 25 that year, I feel like I felt a mental shift in my head. I feel like I felt like not an automatic click, but like a gradual, oh, I'm realized, you know? And I've become more of an adult. I can take care of myself better. I can make better choices. I can hold more accountability than I used to when I was younger. But I'm still like a little kid biting my nails all the time. So I'm going to try to stop that this year.
Now, are you going to do, you know, sometimes when kids are biters, they do different things to get them to stop. I've seen the hot sauce method. I've seen the pinching the jowl. Oh, it's where
I don't think
if
the
a
hot
kid's
sauce method would help. You're trying to make my fingernails more tasty?
Well, I'm going to send you some over the bomb Beyond Insanity and just cover your fingernails in it. So everything you do, you're just burned to shit.
Yeah.
Don't pick your nose. Don't rub your eye. You're done.
I don't know if I'm going to do anything like that. I think I'm just going to try really hard not to do it. And if that doesn't work, I'll resort to covering my nails in, I don't know, battery acid.
Black tar heroin.
Black tar heroin. Won't touch the stuff anymore. So what's your actual New Year's resolution? You said it worked out well the last time you tried. Do you have a specific, this is what this year is supposed to be?
I think this year it's mostly just being on top of my sleep schedule. Because I think that
that's a good one for you.
Get sick a whole lot less if I slept a decent amount on a consistent basis.
I've been saying that to you for so long. Not just the sick thing, but just I am a 9 hours, 8 hours of sleep boy, and I have been preaching the importance of that for a long time. And it is. I think it's so important, and it affects a lot about your day and your life if you just feel well rested.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you what that feels like. I haven't been well rested since I was like 4.
I have never done a podcast with Steven like in the middle of the day without him having just woken up or needing to go to sleep directly after it's done, right? Well, I hope that works out for you. Do you have any strategy? Is there anything specific you're going to do?
I'm just going to go to bed.
I understand where you come from, though, because you have such a busy schedule and such a long day, and you really want, like, 6 to 8 hours at home as a part of your day to enjoy your hobbies and the things that you like to do. And sometimes sleep can be what you cut out to make time for that. But it's really important to get a good night's sleep.
The wee hours, the only hours that I really feel like are my own.
Well, here in our reality, in the quote-unquote real world, it is a new year, it is 2024, but inside the time knife, it's always Jeremy Bearimy, right?
Hey-o.
There's no new year inside the time knife. Time is all at once, you know? So putting all that human stuff aside, it's been too long, really, since this Good Place Rewatch podcast has been consistently recapping The Good Place. I don't know, I feel like in the last 2 months, we've probably done 2 episodes of The Good Place.
Actual episodes of The Good Place?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's time to get back into that, don't you think?
I think it is time.
We've had a busy couple weeks, you know, with all the holidays, and then we both got sick. We're both kind of still shaking off the sick a little bit, but we're back. And my New Year's resolution, let's make a New Year's resolution for the podcast, okay?
Okay.
Mine is just that this is going to be the best year for our podcasting enterprise yet, both as we wrap up The Good Place and then later this year as we begin whatever comes next. I think we're going to see the most growth both in numbers and in professionalism.
Ooh, professionalism.
What about you? Is your New Year's resolution for the podcast to quit?
It's to slide my 2 weeks notice seductively under your door in a way that you know warms your heart and arouses you a little bit. No, I think my resolution for the podcast is the same. I just want growth and excitement, and I'm excited for. I'm the type of person that loves finishing a show. It's just such a good feeling I get when I'm watching something and I can wrap it up, mark it as completed on my checklist, So I'm excited to land the plane and then get right back on another one and take off again.
I hear you, because I agree. It's so supremely satisfying to mark that last episode as watched. And with Community, having podcasted every episode, it's like taking your orgasm to the next level. Because we put in so many hours and hours and hours of thinking about the show, and then we finished it in a way that felt grand to us, in a way that felt big, and I'm excited to get to do that again in a couple months with The Good Place. Not that I'm not bittersweet about running out of episodes of the show, because I have had so much fun diving deep into the show, but it's going to be special. Lil's parents, just finished watching The Good Place for the first time.
Wow.
And they really loved it. And then I asked them what they thought about the ending, and I feel like this is a hot take. They said, nah.
Wow.
They said the show was really, really great, and then to them it felt like they just rushed into an ending.
Interesting.
And I don't remember feeling that way at all, so I'm kind of excited to watch it from that perspective, to see if I think it sucks now, too.
My God, could you imagine we get into this and we fucking hate the ending now?
I don't know. Well, why don't you give our compatriots, our listeners, our loyal viewers a few parting words of wisdom to get this year kicked off for them before we head out and get ready to kick off the rest of the final season of The Good Place next week.
You know, as we venture into this new calendar cycle.
Yes. Election year. That's scary.
Ooh, election years are always scary.
It's going to be so annoying. It's going to be awful.
A mess. Jesus Christ. Time to find out who to block this year on social media. Just kidding. I don't block people. I just
podcasting during the last election cycle.
Yeah, we were.
And as much as like we were pretty involved in talking about it. Mm-hmm. That's such a like little kid Zach and Steven from 4 years ago thing, because I'm just pre-exhausted about it this year. I'm
already tired.
Looking forward to diving into it this year.
Register to vote. Shout out to the Romans for our calendar, our 12-month calendar system.
Shout out.
July and August, only because of them. So if you're born during those months, Julius and Augustus Caesar, they got their own month.
I always thought it was named after Augustus Gloop.
Actually, the Roald Dahl character.
In memory of the boy who drowned in chocolate.
R.I.P. The boy, if Harry Potter's the boy who lived, Augustus Gloop is the boy who didn't. So, with that being said... From inside the
No. We guys, if you want more of us before we come back with The Good Place next week, remember, check us out at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. And Steven, where else can the people find us?
Well, if you want to powder
asphyxiate in our liquid chocolate.
If you want to just take your last gasp of breath and it just be a Nutella sludgy mess, come follow us over on Twitter and Instagram over at Time Knife Pod. We're also on YouTube where you can find the video companion to this podcast.
You can see, even though they're kind of blocked off, obviously we got Gooby, but one of my Christmas presents was this really neat Bart doll that's from 1990. This is from like the first year of The Simpsons, and it's like Bart's shirt was blue in the very beginning. He doesn't look like this anymore.
That looks like it's made with lead. I love that.
Look, got me all kinds of cool old school Simpsons stuff.
That's cool as fuck.
These 2 packs of unopened trading cards from 1990 that I opened one of them and I kept the other one closed. That was really neat. And these keychains that are from the beginning, and one of them's of the whole family, and it's from 1989, which is the year that the show premiered in December for Christmas.
Holy shit.
And it's got like the really wonky animation style on it. And I think
that is
pretty
super
neat present.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, from inside Steven's Nutella fountain. Happy New Year, everyone. What's the name of the New Year song? Auld Lang Syne? Is that what it is? Or Auld Syne
Something
Lane?
like that. Ching Lang, the singer of Unraveled from Tokyo
Thank you for
Ghoul.
joining us for a few minutes at the beginning of another year. We're very excited to bring you the rest of the final season of Into the Time Knife throughout the first part of 2024. Steven, get us out of here.
From inside the Time Knife. Black Lives Matter.
I'm Zach.
I'm Steven.
And we'll see you next week. Have a great week. We love ya.
Support your local library.
Have you seen Home Alone 2 recently?
Not recently. That's the Donald Trump one, right?
Yeah, but he's in it for like 2 seconds. Most importantly, it's the Tim Curry one. The moment when Tim Curry... so the iconic scene in that movie is Kevin's using a movie on TV to be scary to the people.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to shoot you with my Tommy gun. And Tim Curry and Rob Schneider and all the hotel staff are there. And he says, get on your knees and tell me you love me. And Tim Curry gets on his knees and he goes, I love you. And that's what I thought of when I told the audience that I loved them.
Aw.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, Tim Curry.
He's not dead yet. He's in rough shape, but he's still hanging on.
This will be our year. Took a long time to come, and I won't forget the way you held me up when I was down, and I won't forget the way you said, darling, I love you. You this will be our year.